Mark 5 is where we are today. This is the last sermon in the series, Sermons by the Seashore. So we will wave bye-bye to the seashore. I have something here in my pocket I want to show you. This is a piece of concrete. But it's not just any piece of concrete. It's a piece of concrete from the Berlin Wall. When the Berlin Wall was torn down, a friend of mine, son, was over there at the time. He brought back quite a few pieces, and I was lucky enough to get this one. The Berlin Wall separated West Germany from East Germany. The Berlin Wall was built to keep people in communist East Germany from getting out and escaping to free West Germany. We have a DVD we want you to look at. This is the actual event I'm going to talk about.
Die Grenze zwischen Ost und West scharf bewacht. Doch hier das Zeugnis einer Flucht. Ein ausländischer Tourist filmte vor kurzem zufällig diese Szene. Die 4 DDR-Flüchtlinge, 3 Männer und eine Frau, waren zunächst unbemerkt über Dächer und Zäune bis an den östlichen Uferrand gekommen. Doch die Spree gehört hier in voller Breite zu Ostberlin. Am westlichen Ufer beobachten zahlreiche Touristen die Flucht. Auf einem Schnellboot nähern sich bewaffnete Grenzsoldaten. Die 3 jungen Männer haben das Westufer erreicht. Nur der flüchtenden Frau fehlt kurz vor dem Ziel die Kraft, sich an der Ufermauer hochzuziehen. Später berichtete sie:
Der Frau gesagt, der kann doch nicht einfach schießen, weil er ihm gesagt hat, er schießt. Er hat sie ja richtig angeladen und gesagt, ich soll rauskommen, aber ich wusste erst mal, wenn ich jetzt aufs Boot zurück, hier ist aus, denn ich habe jetzt überhaupt nicht. Also bin ich im Wasser geblieben, habe erstmal abgewartet. Ja, dann hat der eine meine Hand genommen und hat gesagt, jetzt kannst du sowieso nicht mehr schießen, die hat es schon im Westen und hat mich dann rausgezogen. Und dann sind sie gerannt mit mir, weil das Stück nach Osten gewesen ist.
Der hat die Waffe auf uns alle nicht gehabt, das weiß ich. Der war nicht mehr der schießt. Wir dachten, der schießt auf uns.
Think about the notion you would have if you were able to escape communist country to freedom. That was in September of 1988. And the reason the woman had more trouble than the men is because when they jumped over the wall, she broke her ankle when she landed. But she still swam the river. But I imagine it was very painful. But you see, she wanted to be free. She wanted freedom so much. She wasn't going to let a broken ankle stop her. The patrol boat bore down on them, but if you noticed on the screen there, the boat went past where they were, had to reverse and go back. In fact, gave her just enough time to get to the West Bank and freedom. And then some onlookers, there was a bunch of tourists, and some of them actually helped pull her out of the water. The story we're going to look at today comes from Mark 5, and it's very similar to the story that you just saw. It's a true story too. It comes from the Bible. the man that we're going to look at was change. He was enslaved, but he became free. And the change that he went through because of Jesus Christ caused him to tell other people about who Jesus was and what Jesus had done for him. He preached and told the story to the 10 towns known as the Decapolis, and the people marveled. So let's look at this man's story. Here's his testimony. If you want to follow along, I'm not going to read the verses. This comes from verse 13 verses of Mark 5. I was a madman because I had unclean spirits. These unclean spirits had a name. Their name was Legion, because there were so many of them. I don't know if there's a similarity or not, but a legion of Roman soldiers was 6,000 men. Think about this man who was the house of these 6,000 or so unclean, evil spirits. I lived in a cave and used the tombs in the northwest shore of the Sea of Galilee as my home. Society had cast me out because I really was of no value or use to anyone, and they all feared me anyway. They were so afraid of me they would stay away. They tried to bind me with chains, but I could break them. Probably it wasn't him that broke them, but the unclean spirits did that. Day and night I cried out in pain and in fear. Did I say I was a madman? I would cut myself with sharp rocks. My encounter with Jesus started one evening when I saw a terrible storm out on the Sea of Galilee. And then in an instant, everything was calm. I would find out later that was Jesus calming that storm. Just like he calmed the storm that was raging in me. Naturally, I went down to see what in the world was going on. The storms just don't stop like that so quickly. That's when I noticed the boat coming toward the shore. I learned later that the man in the boat had been the one who calmed the storm and saved those in the boat, telling the waves and the wind to be still. As the boat came ashore, I was about to let them have it when the unclean spirits that were controlling me recognized the man. So I ran up and bowed down before him. The unclean spirits in me called out his name, Son of the Most High God, they said. And they begged him not to torment me. Jesus began to call the unclean spirits to come out of me. But they didn't want to, and so they begged Jesus. There was a herd of pigs not too far away, and they begged Jesus to send the evil spirits into the pigs. Jesus permitted it. I'm not sure why. Because when the evil spirits went into the pigs went crazy. So crazy, in fact, they ran right over the cliff and into the Sea of Galilee, and they all drowned. There was a preacher's count probably, but somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000 pigs. Now, if you were a pig farmer, You wouldn't have been too happy about that, because those pigs were worth a lot of money. I was feeling better already because the evil spirits had left me when they went into the pigs. Just to be free of those unclean spirits made me feel so good. It was like a burden being lifted off my shoulders. It had been a long time since I had known freedom. That was this man's testimony. Now we're going to look at the witnesses, verses 14 through 17. If you had been tending those pigs and you saw them all running for the cliff, what would you have done? There wasn't any way to stop them because the evil spirits had made them crazy. There wasn't a thing they could do. So the people, the men tending the pigs, ran into town telling what had happened. They told the pig's owner, and he was not very happy. They told everyone in the country, everyone in the city, that it was Jesus who'd done this. Well, as the news traveled, it wasn't long until people were coming out to the Sea of Galilee, where I was, to see what was going on. These stories were really true. I don't think they really believed that pigs would just run over the cliff and drown like that, but when they saw them floating around, they probably believed in it. That's when they also saw Jesus and me. I was a changed man. I wasn't the crazy man that they all were afraid of. I was no longer mad. I was calm. I now had clothes on. People seemed really surprised to see me in my right mind, sitting there with Jesus. Those who seen Jesus cast the unclean spirits out of me were now afraid of me because they feared Jesus and fearing me. The witnesses retold the story over and over again about what Jesus had done. So it wasn't only me now telling the story. It was all those who witnessed the event. In fact, when people heard this story being told by the witnesses, they were so afraid, they asked Jesus to please leave our country. Go somewhere else. I couldn't believe it. Here is the man who cast the evil spirits out of me, and they're asking him to leave. What a missed opportunity. Jesus could have stayed in their country, and he could have helped them all find freedom. But they didn't want him to stay. They liked their sin better, I guess. I hope that if any of you ever see Jesus, that you invite him into your home. And you don't tell him to go somewhere else because you don't want him around. I hope you'll do like I did and sit at his feet and learn from him. Because he changed my life. The last three verses we're looking at today are verses 18, 19, and 20. Let's suppose you were like this man and Jesus changed you. Would it make a difference in what you do? Would it make a difference in how you live? Would it make a difference in going out and telling the story to other people? Well, let's look at this man's actions. You know, Jesus won't stay where people don't want him. So Jesus did. He got back in the boat, took the disciples, and they went back across the Sea of Galilee. I really wanted to go along too. I wanted to get in the boat, and I wanted to continue learning at his feet and sit with the disciples and see what else Jesus could say and teach. Just to be near Jesus would be enough. But Jesus, who had cured me and set me free, said, no, you can't come. My heart broke because that's where I wanted to go. But then Jesus told me he had a job for me to do. He said, I want you to go to your home, one of those 10 cities in the capitals. And I want you to start telling people about me. And about the great things that I did for you. So, reluctantly, I said I would do the best I could. I turned my heart toward home and began proclaiming all over the compass what Jesus had done to me. Now, I hadn't had much schooling. Nobody had really told me, what it was like to share good news. But I guess, really, what all that's about is just simply telling people what Jesus has done for you. Because that's all I did. I just told people what Jesus had done for me. How he had changed my life. How he had saved me and how he had given me freedom. Those 10 towns, Decapolis, as they're called, they're over there on the east side of the Jordan River, just south of the Sea of Galilee. Now I know that you can do what I did because I didn't have any special training. I just told people about Jesus and what he'd done. And I think probably all of you can do that too. See, the people knew me, and they knew what I was like, and they saw the change in me, and they were willing to listen to what I said. They marveled at the change that Jesus had made in my life. It was as different as night and day. You know, you don't have to go off to a foreign country or be a missionary or go to Bible college to tell people about Jesus. You just have to tell people what he did for you. Unless he hasn't done anything for you. But I think Jesus probably has given you freedom and saved you. And you have an awful lot you can tell. You see, sometimes you can make a big difference just right in your own neighborhood, your own backyard. All you really have to do is be willing to tell people what Jesus did for you. One commentary I read suggested that the storm on the Sea of Galilee was caused by Satan. Because the devil didn't want Jesus to get to the other side and save this man, because Satan knew how many people this guy would touch. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. That was just one commentator's opinion. But it certainly is possible. I do know that Satan does not like it when anyone, even any of you, tell people about Jesus.
Thank you. Yes.
A nurse in a pediatric ward let the children listen to their own heartbeat. With her stethoscope, and then she would listen herself. The kids' eyes would usually get really big and would light up when they heard the thump, 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 thump of their heartbeat. But she never got the response that equaled 4-year-old David's. As he listened intently to his own heartbeat, a grin came upon his face. And he said, "I can hear Jesus knocking." Have you let Jesus come into your life? Have you let Him show you what freedom is really like? Most people in the DVD just had to swim a river to get the freedom. Well, there is a river. And that river is filled with the blood of Jesus. And it's the blood of Jesus that washes away all of our sins. And it's the blood of Jesus that sets us free.
Oh, yes.
If you have contacted the blood of Jesus, you are free indeed. There's nothing to stop you from telling other people what Jesus has done for you. Have you let Jesus come into your heart? Have you escaped this world of sin into the freedom that Christ offers? Jesus can change you just like He did this man in this passage of Scripture. The Savior is waiting. We're going to be singing an invitation hymn this morning. And it's an opportunity for you to come to that freedom that Christ offers you. It's free. All you have to do is jump in the river and swim to the other side. But if you will do that, you'll be changed. And God will make a difference in your life that will help you tell other people about Him. Because you see, Jesus really has changed you. You'll want to tell people about Jesus. You need to make a decision today. We invite you to come.